fine, baby girl. I can't see because there's a thing.
You're in it.
Yes, I know. No, I wouldn't be able just to see that. Is it okay? It's okay?
I'm okay. You're okay?
Okay.
Voilà.
طلعنا.
طلعنا.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Let's Talk About Sex here on XFM 100.2 with me, Melanie Kelly. And today we are with the beautiful, lovely blondie Emma Hogg.
I'm not blonde anymore.
No, you're not. Hey, what happened to your hair?
I went darker.
Yeah, I know you went dark, but you're still a dark blonde.
I fell in a puddle, like a dark puddle, and came out a different color.
So we've got the dark blonde and the light blonde, and lots of blondes here, but very intelligent blondes.
We promise.
Yes, we promise, we promise. Emma, today we're going to talk about a subject which maybe our listeners, when they're listening, are like, yeah, but that has nothing to do with sex. But I'd actually like to start the conversation, by talking about how the first sign, the first thing that gets removed from a relationship when things are not going right is actually
Sex.
why? I know it has nothing to do with our topic, and maybe I got you a bit off guard there.
No, it's a good question. It's okay. Catch me off guard. I like it. Why?
I have my takes on why.
Tell me your takes. I'm curious.
Obviously, if you are in an argument with your partner, there's a bit of resent. So once there's a bit of resent and once there's a bit of anger, you get very protective over your space.
Yes.
And so obviously when you're having sex with your partner, that is giving your partner access to you and your space.
Yes.
So obviously it would feel like an invasion because
You
if we're
just
at war...
described it so beautifully.
I did.
You did. You just unpacked it. My head went straight to boundaries, and I was like, okay, boundaries. How do I explain this? And you were just like, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yes, that's what boundaries are.
That's how I feel. It's like you're invading me. It's like a war. Metaphorically, it's kind of, you're at war. But even if there's something that your partner does that he's not even, or she is not even aware of, so you still have that bit of resentment, even if your partner said a comment in the morning, which literally left a sour taste, and you carry it with you.
Yes, even if you don't acknowledge it in that moment.
And you don't even really know why you're not happy with your partner at that point, because there are so many things that your partner says or you say, and you don't realize that you hurt one another.
Yeah.
And
I think
this is, today what we're going to talk about is how to cope with difficult in-laws. And, well, I know a lot about this. Okay, not my in-laws.
I was like
They're
curious.
sweet. They're very sweet. But I did have difficult in-laws.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did in the past.
Okay.
So it's very close to my heart, this topic, because I understand and I know that when one has to deal with a difficult situation with regards to the in-laws, a lot of trouble can arise between the couple.
For sure. Most definitely.
And obviously sex is affected.
Exactly. You don't want to be having sex.
No.
Yeah.
No. So, why do difficult relationships with in-laws happen?
Okay.
Emma.
Okay. So, difficult relationships with in-laws happen because there is an insecure attachment between the parent and the child.
Okay. So funnily enough, it actually starts from him or her, not you.
Exactly.
So if you are having trouble with your in-laws,
yes,
it actually doesn't start because it's you.
Yes,
it
in
starts
fact,
from them.
I think this conversation can get really messy because there's so many different people to
Okay.
So maybe we should just keep it really simple, right? And we just say, we speak about it from the woman's perspective, right? For example, and then viewers, you guys use your imagination and apply it to yourselves.
Okay.
Because I think that if we keep going
Him, her, yes,
it's gonna get
her,
so
her,
confusing because
him.
there's so many different people.
Yes.
So maybe the woman can be the one who married into the family.
Okay.
And then there can be the man who is the child of the parents-in-law.
Okay.
And maybe the parents-in-law, the difficult in-laws.
Are the difficult in-laws.
Yeah?
Sits well with me.
Okay. All right, cool.
Okay. So when you talk about an insecure attachment between the parent and the child, what does that mean?
Okay, so insecure attachment is based on attachment theory, and basically what it is it's that the bond isn't clear between the parent and the child. It's not secure. So the child and the parent don't know that it's okay to be different, to be separate, and yet still together. Okay, let me go.
And this could be like the father or the mother with the child.
Yes, exactly. In fact, attachment theory always looked at mother,
Okay.
I feel it's a bit unfair.
Yes, it is unfair.
I think it's rather unfair because the father plays a part just as much.
Definitely.
So that's how it can get even more complicated, because then our parents are different
So
with
this
us.
insecure attachment starts from the parents or from the child?
From the parents.
From the parents.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. And they have their own insecure attachment, which would have come from their parents or some experience or whatever.
Okay.
Basically, think of it like this, okay? So there is secure attachment and then there's insecure attachment. So secure attachment is, I am the parent, okay? And I have a child and I tell the child, go explore. Like, it's a good world out there. It's good fun, and I'm here for you, like, no matter what, and you can come back when you need.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
So I'm the safe base. And I'm
insecure is when you're actually scared of letting your child go because you're scared that he won't come back.
Exactly. Okay, so insecure is when I'm going, as the parent, going, why do you need to go? Like, what's so good out there? Come back, like, kind of. And also, I'm anxious, I'm sad, I need you, I don't know how to do this without you. And it's not necessarily said in words, but it's communicated.
Yes.
Like, through discipline, for example. If you, like, growing up, if the child does something that I don't like, and I withdraw love.
Okay.
As opposed to having the conversation about what wasn't good about the behavior, that kind of stuff.
Being overprotective is not the same thing, is it?
What do you mean?
Because I'm thinking of myself and how overprotective I am with my son,
You're going to start analyzing yourself on this show. No, another time, Mel, another time.
Okay. So, yes, but I understood what you mean with the insecure attachment. So, obviously, if there is this insecure attachment, if growing up you've never let your child, or you have never seen it as, listen, go, I am here, I will always be here when you come back, but it's always... You need your child, so you kind of always try and lure him back, pull him back, not allow them the space to maybe go, make them feel guilty if they go.
Now, a lot of in-laws would say at this point, but I let them go, Okay, but it's not so much that it's more like when you start guilt-tripping for them to come back, or... It's not so. It's
very
not
subtle.
So, it's subtle. It's so under the layers, And this is why this situation is so incredibly complex.
Yes.
Because then the person who's married into the family feels it.
Yes.
But none of it's said explicitly.
None of it is said, and none of it is clear. None of it is clear cut. And when you come into a family that has these issues, obviously you weren't there when they were all growing up as a unit.
No, exactly.
You weren't there.
Yeah.
And so you can feel the energy, but you can't really
put your finger on it.
Put
you
your
don't know
finger
why.
on it.
And you're wondering, is it me?
Yes.
Am I imagining it? Like, what's going on?
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, many times I think you think it's you.
Yeah.
You're very easy to think, I'm the last one in.
And for the family, it's easy to say, yes, it is you, right? It's very often the scapegoat, the one who's married in, who's called the stramba or whatever, because it's easy to leave it with them. That way you don't have to own responsibility for the insecurity within your own family dynamic.
So if you get a boyfriend, okay, who So I'm saying boyfriend for the sake of what we said. We're just going to leave it with that. Otherwise, we're going to stay mixing things up. So you get a boyfriend.
Wait, boyfriend. I was thinking
as
husband.
Husband.
Okay,
but first he's your boyfriend. Then,
Yes.
And then becomes your husband.
I'm with you.
Okay, so you move into this family, kind of move in, as in you start.
You join in.
You join in, and this man of yours, this partner of yours, has the mother or the father has this insecure attachment with the son going on.
Yes.
How are they going to see you? What is going to happen for the situation to become difficult?
Okay.
How does it evolve?
Okay, so it depends, right? Because there's secure and there's insecure. Okay. And insecure is then split into 3. Okay, so there are 3 ways that the child can respond to insecure attachment with the parents.
Okay.
So one is an anxious response, which is I will forego my freedom. Okay, so I will lose myself to always be with you, to always help you, to give you whatever you want.
To the parents.
To the parent.
So he's not as present for the wife.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Then there's anxious ambivalent, which is I stay because I know you need me, but it's difficult for me to stay. I'm coming and I'm going and I'm coming and I'm going because I'm always scared you're angry at me, you're upset with me. This would be like when there's sort of more like emotional abuse within the family kind of thing. So it's like I stay but I can't trust kind of thing. Okay. Then there's avoidant, which is where the child says, I can't handle this and removes themselves.
Oh.
And it might not be that they remove themselves, like they never come around. They might come, but they're not present.
Not present in the family situation.
They don't share themselves. They don't participate in the conversation. They never disagree.
Okay.
They'd rather hide.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then go. That kind of
What
thing.
is the effect of these 3 things on the partner? So yes, we said if you're very anxious because you're all there for your parents, obviously the partner might feel there's no time.
There's no
for
space
her, or
for
it's
me.
always
It might
you're always there.
It might end up being that the partner ends up having to become a part of this family dynamic as well, where they lose themselves to serving the parents as well, kind of thing. And also the child has their we learn to love our partners from the way we learn to love our parents.
Yes, I was going to tell you. I was going to say most probably the anxious ambivalent would feel like a partner who's always playing with you, coming and going, giving you, letting go, giving you, coming, going. I mean, I'm here, I give you the love, but then I'm not here.
Or I'm here, I want you, but I'm angry at you. Oh. You know, like that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yes?
Okay.
I have to fight you to give me love, and then when you give it, I can't receive it. It's difficult.
Oh my God, that's complicated.
It is. Well, they're all complicated.
They're very complicated.
They're all.
And obviously, I would say that the avoidant one would be somebody who is kind of emotionless to a certain degree.
It's not that
avoids.
They have it. They have the emotions, but they don't pay attention to their emotions.
No, it's deep and buried and deep down.
So people might say, like, this person's really chilled, like, you know, but it's not that they're chilled. It's that they're not
in
super present. They're not in touch. So the way it affects the partner who's joined the family dynamic, and I'm speaking about the child with the partner, okay? Not the parent affecting
the child with the partner.
Is that if for me, love is we are together and we do not separate, and there's no I think this but you think this, we think exactly the same together. And we do exactly the same, and we, you know, then you experience me in this way, but then you bring your own attachment pattern as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So if I'm anxious and you're avoidant,
oh my God.
Ooh, right?
Okay, moral of the story. Okay, because we're already at the end of part 1, but actually I'd like to end it in this way, that how important it is. And to be honest, I read so much about these things and I overanalyze, you know, how I am with my child. For the simple reason that I know for a fact that the way I react to him, I am, and if you're a parent and you are listening, you are very, very, very responsible for your actions towards your child. And you should, now I'm not saying if you shout at them, you go and, have a guilt trip, because everybody, it's okay, But what I'm saying is that you need to be very, very aware of how you give and show your child love, because that is the way he or she is going to interpret loving somebody. And everything we are as children, everything we experience as children is what we take with us into our relationships,
and then give to our children.
Adulthood, give to our children. So I understand where you're coming from when you say he comes with his insecure attachment, then the partner comes from it, and then there's like big bang.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, we're going to stop for a short break for a song, and we'll be right back, and we're going to continue talking about how to cope with difficult in-laws. And welcome back to Let's Talk About Sex here on XFM 100.2, and I am with the not-so-blonde Emma Hogg, who decided to go darker. Any particular reason why?
My hairdresser, I just love her, I trust her blindly. And she was like, if you like going darker today. And I was like, okay.
For winter.
Yeah.
Winter mood.
Yeah, it felt autumnal.
Okay. As long as you're happy, honey, I'm happy.
Yeah.
So today we're talking about how to cope with difficult in-laws, and well, it's rather complicated.
Yes.
Yeah. So to our listeners, if you've missed the first part of the show, then you go on my Facebook page, Let's Talk About Sex on XFM 100.2, and there you'll find the uploads of the whole show. Maybe not tonight, but
in a few days. On Sundays.
On Sundays.
Yeah.
Okay, so Emma, we spoke about how it initially starts, this difficulty with in-laws, when there's an insecure attachment between the parent and the child.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
And then there you go, brand new, you walk into this family.
Yes. And there's this difficulty with separation, right? So if we think of the family in terms of a nucleus, right? So a circle encompassing a sphere, encompassing the family. Okay, so there's mother, father, child, siblings, whatever. This is your family nucleus. Now, what happens when the children become adults is they start to leave their family nucleus, okay? The nucleus begins to open. And then when they meet someone else and they marry or they form a partnership, they create their own nucleus.
Okay.
So this is separation.
Yes.
And it's a totally normal, absolutely necessary part of being an adult. You need to separate from your family nucleus. Now, what happens with secure attachment? This is quite. It's not that it doesn't bring up any emotions for the parent and child who are securely attached, but they know that they can be separate and there's still love, and they will come back and they will go again and they will come back and they will go again, and they
because they accept that is the part of nature, that is life,
and they've
Animal
trusted
kingdom,
it
everything.
Exactly, and they've trusted it
it's
the
natural.
whole time.
Yes.
With insecure attachment, okay, this letting go is very, very, very difficult.
Yeah.
So
there's fear.
Exactly. It becomes a threat, right?
Of course.
What happens is the fear is that they will never come back. They don't trust it.
Or they will find somebody else who they love more.
Exactly. So the partner who's who the child is creating a new nucleus
becomes your arch enemy.
Becomes the threat. Exactly. Becomes the threat.
The one who's going to take away my son from me.
So the parent begins to respond from a space of fear.
Okay.
And we've spoken about this before. Responding from a space of fear always creates what you don't want. It creates the situation you don't want. So it's like jealousy. Remember when we spoke about jealousy? So let's think about jealousy within the couple. Okay, so man, woman, the woman's speaking to another man, and the man goes, oh my God, I'm going to lose her to that guy, okay, because he's more interesting than me, he's better than me. Essentially, there's the self-belief.
Essentially, it's not true that he's going to lose her for him, because all she's doing is talking. The fears are him.
Yes, and there's the belief that caused the fear,
exactly.
Right? The belief under it all is I'm not enough.
I'm not enough.
Okay? I'm not lovable enough, I'm not good enough, whatever. And when that person's in the space of fear, how do they respond to the lover, to the partner?
Either anger or
regret,
resentment.
Right? Checking, going through their things.
Possessive.
Where are you going? Who are you going with?
Exactly.
I don't like it when you talk to that person, blah, 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 blah.
Rather than telling them, oh, I feel insecure, which is literally what it is. I feel insecure.
Exactly. So, that kind of behavior, what does it do? Make your partner want to come closer to you?
No,
Or make
run
you
a
wanna
mile.
Run a mile.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is what's happening with the parent, with the child. Okay, there's the threat. Okay, the partner
is the threat.
and the parent starts to respond from the space of fear. Okay, so, and this can come out in different ways, trying to push the partner out, belittling them, making them feel
comments,
passive-aggressive
remarks.
comments, exactly, dressing up an insult in a compliment, right?
Bringing up the ex-girlfriend.
Yes.
And how great she was, even if she didn't like her anyway.
Exactly, right? So there's a lot of this crappy way of interacting, basically. It's really not okay.
Okay, so what are we telling our listeners? We're telling our listeners that if you have an in-law, whether you're male or female, an in-law, okay?
Yeah.
Who you feel does not want you in the family, okay? Now, because they either do it through snide remarks or through dressing up, as you said, an insult, into a compliment or making you feel like it's not your place. So I'm sure we're going to get to practical tips on how to deal with it. But what we are trying to put forward here, that maybe the first thing that you need to look at is sit back and look at the relationship between your partner and their parents.
Exactly.
And try and see what is there. Can you maybe see that there is an insecure attachment? Can you see that this is stemming from the fact that your in-law doesn't want to lose her son, maybe?
Exactly. Just see it as a system.
Yes.
Right? See it as families are systems, and every person in the family affects everyone else. And when you acknowledge that this is the way it is, it's not about you.
And then you realize that it's not about you. That's what I'm trying to say. And then you realize that you're not really the problem. It's not that your in-law doesn't really like you. Well, if you're not a nice person, maybe.
Well, you bring your own attachment pattern to it. So it's good to have awareness of your own, and then see when you are sort of exaggerating the situation, whatever. But you feel when a person wants you, and when a person welcomes you, and you feel when a person is threatened by you and they're trying to keep you down.
Yes.
Right?
Obviously, and you know what you bring. I mean, if you bring, as you said, your own attachment patterns and you tend to be a bit too much, then it's you. But what we're saying here, that most of the time, if you feel like, but I'm not doing any, what am I doing to make my in-laws treat me in this way? What have I done? You know? Then that is when we are saying to kind of take a step back and try and see the relationship between your partner and his or her parents. To see, okay, it's not me.
Yeah.
It's not me. There's an issue there.
It's a system. Like, see it as a system. And the truth is, like, if you look at the history, you'll probably find that there was the same issue with the ex-girlfriend and the girlfriend who came before, and you could be replaced. You could, as in your partner could marry someone else and they'd still have this issue. So it's not it doesn't belong with you alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm much rather. Let me stop it. Yeah. There's a lot of thoughts going through my head. As I said, this is much too hard, So zip, Mel, zip it. You're on radio. Say nothing. So anyway, you were saying in-laws.
Yeah, in-laws. Do you want some tips?
Yes, some tips. Let's go.
So we can never change people.
No.
Okay, so we can't change the situation. We can't change their attachment pattern. Okay, but we can always choose how to respond. Okay?
How to react.
Exactly. So, don't engage in the tug of war. Okay, the tug of war between the parent and you pulling for your partner's
Partner.
affection. This is just not.
If you love me, you would tell her that.
Yeah,
No.
exactly. Or trying to remove the parents, right? Because
Yes.
the wish could be, oh my God, they cause so much hell in my life. I wish I could just get rid of them. But the truth is, even with couples who have had difficult in-laws, even after the in-laws die, the in-laws still have an impact on the dynamic.
Yes.
Because it's not
Yes.
it's not about winning, and it's not all the fault of the in-law, it's not all the fault of you. It's about kind of the child, who is now an adult in the new family nucleus, needs to understand how they learned to love.
Because that's what they're going to bring to the plate.
Because that's what they're bringing here. And also, so for example, if the child learned that the best way to cope with their parent was to be avoidant, okay, because when I'm around you, I don't feel good, I don't feel myself, you don't allow me to be myself, so I would rather avoid you because that way it's easier for me, okay? And then they engage in this new relationship. Do we still have time?
Yes,
We're on
yes,
it.
yes,
Okay.
yes, no.
They engage in this new relationship, and the parent becomes jealous and starts trying to interfere or break it down. I forgot where I was going with this. Don't engage in tug of war. So sorry, I got distracted.
Don't worry.
The phone rang and I got
Don't worry,
distracted.
don't worry. It's my fault. I didn't put it on silent. Jay is going to kill me.
Don't worry.
So,
Let me go back. Let me recenter.
Recenter a bit. So we're talking about not engaging in this tug of war, okay? Not trying to play the game, because we were talking about how the child who has the problem is going to bring that within the relationship with you.
Exactly. So if you try to engage in the tug of war, right? So you try to pull your partner towards you and get them away from the parents. This isn't going to change the way that the partner relates to you or to the parents, because they're not working through their stuff, right? They're not understanding how they came to love the way they do.
It's just a tug of war.
It's just a tug of war.
And in a tug of war, it goes this way, that way, this way, that way.
And you're going to drive your partner mad, right? Because you're playing the same game the parents are playing.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
And so you're not going to get
you're
what you want.
kind of actually validating it to a certain extent.
Yeah.
The validating the relationship, and you might also be kind of by validating it, then the partner will never see, okay, wait, this is my relationship with my parents, I want to change it now with my child.
Yeah, exactly.
So hopefully, so if you don't do this tug of war, if you don't engage in tug of war, what do you do?
Okay. So the first place to start, and I know a lot of people are going to say, oh my God, Emma, again, like self-compassion.
You know what? I'm not going to tell you that again, because I think this is the key.
It is the key
to everything.
Even
so many things.
If you don't understand self-compassion, it can sound like a really airy-fairy thing.
Okay, so let's de-airy-fairy it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's de-airy-fairy it. Look at the biology behind it, okay? When you're in a state of fear, the most basic parts of the brain are just going mental, okay? Yeah. They're too energized. They're receiving way too much oxygen. And what's happening is that the part of the brain that's engaged in emotional regulation, compassion, communication, the frontal lobe, exactly. That part it shuts off. It doesn't get enough oxygen. And you cannot think. So if you
this is scientific.
This is scientific.
Scientific.
This is science.
This is not Emma talking about airy-fairy self-compassion.
Exactly.
This is scientific. So if you're fearful, you close the front lobe of the brain, which is where you do the emotions. And what do you do then?
You just act from that space of fear.
And obviously, as we said before, if you're jealous, you're going to act in a certain way. So if you're fearful...
You're pushing your partner away. And that's not what you want, right? I mean, what you want is togetherness. Togetherness that can also allow for separateness. And for this, we need safety. For relationships to work, we need safety. To bring safety, we don't go and demand it from the other. We bring it to ourselves first, okay? And it's only when we bring it to ourselves first that we can then go and share it with another. So You bring it to yourself by giving yourself self-compassion. You acknowledge that this is a difficult space to be in, okay? That it sucks and that it sends you into fear as well. Because let's face it, if somebody is threatened by you and they're putting you down, and your partner, for whatever reasons, pretends they don't see it because it's difficult to confront their parent, or, you know, they make up excuses for their parent, they defend the parent,
it leaves
whatever.
you in a very lonely,
you completely
place.
Alone, right? And this is a really, really
Yes.
difficult place. And quite frankly, your partner needs to
Yep.
get
Yep.
their shit
Yep.
together,
Yep.
all right? Because otherwise, they're gonna
But
lose
it's
you.
not easy,
right?
yeah? It's
It's
not,
not
easy.
easy.
I mean,
I know,
I've seen
even
this
if-
firsthand.
I
It's
know.
not easy.
It's not easy. Even if
For
you
the
are the
partner
person. Yes.
to stand up to the parents.
Of course,
It's not
of
easy.
course. This has been your whole life. And when I say get your shit together, I say it with as much love. I say it with love, okay? I say it with love. What
Okay.
I mean is get support for yourself to be able to see how you learn to love, to be able to understand why it's very difficult for you to say no to your parent, for you to say, I don't like what you did. Things like that, so that you can then help yourself to communicate this in a way with love, so that you're not telling the parent, you know, get away from me, F off. You're saying, listen, I love you, and at the same time, this isn't okay for me. It goes back to boundaries
And communication.
and communication.
So, I'm going to communicate to you
yes.
that I'm going to play a song,
Okay.
and then we're going to come back.
Okay.
And we're going to continue giving our listeners some tips on
Awesome.
how to cope with difficult in-laws.
Cool.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. We'll see you in a while. And we're back here on XFM 100.2 with me, Melanie Kelly. And on today's show of Let's Talk About Sex, we are actually talking about in-laws. And you might be thinking, in-laws, sex. In-laws, sex. Well, if you have difficult
So not
in-laws...
hot, right?
No. No. Emma, spicier topic next time. No. But why are we talking
If
about
you want to have
in-laws?
good sex, you need to deal with these things. Otherwise, you're not going to be having any sex.
It's true, because let's face it, I mean, to have good sex, you need to be good with your partner. You need to be
Exactly.
going on the, having a flow, if it's flowing. Now, obviously, there are lots of problems that arise within the normal day with your partner, and then if you have kids, they multiply. The more kids you have, the more it multiplies. That's why I stuck at one. Then if you add on top of that the in-laws, oh my God, that's never ending. So good sex means a good, healthy relationship with the in-laws.
With each other.
With each other, no. We're not talking about sex with the in-laws here.
No,
Let's
no,
not-
I know.
No!
Healthy.
So-
and in fact, yeah, you go.
Okay. No, I was going to recap a bit how we were talking about what happens, why usually there is this difficulty with in-laws. And I was going to remind our listeners that they can go on my Facebook page, Let's Talk About Sex on XFM 100.2. And there... I try and say it so fast it gets stuck there.
XFM 100.2.
And there we will, in a couple of days, put up the whole show. So you can watch us, listen to us, show us to your in-laws, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Watch this with the in-laws.
Right after your Sunday lunch, eh?
Yes, because it goes out on a Sunday, yeah. There's a repeat also on Sunday at 9. So, anyway, let's continue. We were saying, so if you have these difficult in-laws, the first thing that you need to do is kind of pull back.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to see and, really see and say, listen, it's not me. There's a situation here.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, we see it as a system.
Yeah.
Right? Because family is our system. You also told us, listen, don't engage in a tug of war, because that's not going to work.
Yeah.
And then you said we have to first start with self-compassion.
Yeah.
And we spoke all about that. What else?
Okay. So the next thing is once you've practiced self-compassion, you're calmer, right? You're calmer to accept the situation. And the main thing you can do, since you cannot change the people, you can't change your in-laws, you can't change your partner and make them kind of get over all their attachment issues and be aces. They can work on themselves for sure. And this is what's awesome about therapy, is that if your natural inclination is an insecure attachment, which most of us are,
Yes.
you can move more towards a secure attachment. And you do this by working on your relationship with yourself. Because the more okay you are with yourself, the more okay you can be with everybody else.
Definitely.
It's like the partner who was jealous, right? Before, the one we mentioned, the man who was jealous of the woman, going to speak to someone else. The more okay he is with himself, the more he knows that he is worthy of love and affection.
And the less jealous he'll be.
The less, exactly. The
Or
less
maybe,
of a threat
or
somebody
maybe
else
if he
is.
gets jealous, now he knows how to deal with it.
Exactly. So you can move more. So with work, with therapy. So
I love
the
therapy,
thing-
Emma.
me too.
I love therapy. I mean, for me, when I have an appointment with a therapist, I get all excited.
yeah, I know. You look forward to it.
I
and it's
really do
helpful.
because you never have a therapy session without walking out, without having like an epiphany of oh, that is why I do that. Oh, that is why I act in that way.
And now I can choose to try something
yes,
different.
and you know, therapists are beautiful people because
Thank you.
this is both in and out. And once you find a therapist who really knows you, then I would say like my therapist is one of my lifelong tools.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. You go to them
because
for guidance.
you
Yeah,
go to them
and
for
not just
guidance.
guidance, but challenge, because they challenge you.
they challenge you,
Which is
and
awesome.
this idea that you go to a therapist only because you have a problem. We have problems every day. We
Yeah.
deal with stuff every single day.
Yes.
You know, and you know, once in a while I say, listen, this is really getting to me. I let me see. You can speak to your friends, and some of us have really wise friends, but going to a therapist where you are actually, for me, that's self-compassion,
Yes. It's self-care.
self-care.
Yeah.
You know, it's
exactly.
giving an hour to me to understand why is it that I feel like this?
Yes, and
Why
what's
is it?
cool about it is it's not self-care in terms of pampering and
No.
that's it. It's self-care also in terms of challenging. Because your
Yes.
therapist is going to challenge you to own the way you are in the world. So if you are the person who's feeling insecure and who is responding from fear and who is making your partner's life
partner's-
very difficult,
Yes.
they're going to call you out on it, you know, obviously from a space of support and trust and love.
Always.
Okay, so it's not just like boom. It's like
No, and they're
you
going to
know,
make
you're
you,
totally
you know,
supported.
guide you
And
to
they will-
decisions
They
that
will
you need to
help you
take.
exactly. They will
Yes.
help you to choose other ways. They will help you to learn how to practice self-compassion. So it's
Yes, that's an aside.
You're right.
Yeah.
So okay, so how to cope with the
And then you'll have
difficult
good
in-laws.
sex.
you're gonna have much better sex if you.
I'm
if you
trying to
know how
connect it
take
with the
care.
show.
It's totally connected. It's totally connected. If you don't see it, you're not listening. Like, so just listen more. So, coping with difficult in-laws, you need to strengthen your nucleus, okay? So, remember, there's the family nucleus, and then there's your nucleus. Now, you and your partner, okay? You cannot get rid of the family. To do this would be doing a complete disservice to your partner, and it would be doing a complete disservice to you, because if your partner's unhappy, you're not happy.
Exactly.
Okay? So, strengthen your nucleus, which is one, seeking to understand your attachment patterns, seek to understand your own, and your partner seeks to understand theirs. Two, learn how to communicate with each other. Okay? Because if you understand where you are, you're going to have an easier time letting your partner know where you are. Okay? So, I feel insecure about when your mom says this and you pretend you don't see it, it makes me feel very alone. And I wonder, you know, do you see me? Do you care about me? Okay, and then you can have a
conversation about it rather than assuming.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you go in with, because your mother, da, 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 like, you know, then your partner's probably gonna go whoop, boom, and come back with something, right? Like she didn't mean it that way. You're misunderstanding. This is all in your head. That's not cool either. But what I'm saying is,
Communicate.
yeah, communicate first from this space of
So Emma, let me ask you a question. So
Yeah.
if you are like I am the one with the crappy in-laws who make my partner feel horrible, and my partner comes up to me and tells me like, because you know what, this is your mother, she's saying this about me, and you say nothing about it from a very nice place. What is expected of me? Do I gently turn to my parents and tell them, listen, communication?
Yeah, well, ask yourself. I think the first place is to hear your partner. Okay, so understand what they're saying. Okay, so your partner
Felt threatened
and they felt alone
by my parents,
And
for
how-
example.
And then ask yourself, how come I allowed that to happen? How come I stayed back? What happened there? Is there a
Why didn't I?
Is there a self-belief that I'm not allowed to say stop to something I don't like when my parent does something I don't like? You know?
You stay
And
in the
then-
space of the child.
Exactly. You form the new nucleus.
So you are
If
now
you
an
want-
adult.
If you want your family nucleus to still survive, you need to step back into it as an adult,
As an
not
adult,
still as a
not
child.
as a child.
When you step back into it as a child, you abandon your partner. This is not okay. You need to go, be the adult, go back as the adult. And it's stepping in and out. Love is togetherness and separateness. Even in your new nucleus, it's togetherness and it's separateness. You cannot always be together. This is not healthy.
No.
And you cannot always be so far apart that you don't see each other. This is also not healthy. It's together, separate. Together, separate.
In fact, how much time should you spend with your in-laws?
well, this is something that you
This
need
is
to...
a very good question.
So, from that space of strengthening your
Okay.
nucleus, okay, and taking care of your nucleus, this is something that needs to be decided within your nucleus, okay? So, and I would suggest use this question to guide your answer. Does time with our in-laws nourish or deplete us
Yeah.
as a couple,
Yeah.
okay? So, there are some people who can spend a whole afternoon with their in-laws.
Oh,
and
there are
feel
some people who can go
completely-
on holiday.
Exactly, and feel completely nourished, feel completely okay. There's no resentment, it's fine. There are some people who spend 5 minutes with their in-law
Yeah.
and they're fighting for 5 days,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
So this is really about
It depends on
communicating
yes,
it
yes.
between
There's
you.
no magic answer. There's no magic
No.
number. It has to be kind of listen. Okay, I'll have lunch, but that's it. After lunch, we leave. We don't stay for tea. We don't stay for blah blah blah.
Yeah,
If it's okay, then listen, lunch, we have tea. But then Monday we don't go. Tuesday we don't go. Wednesday we go. So it
and yes, and I think like
negotiated.
Yes, exactly. Negotiate, and also remember that you can negotiate, and it's one way now, and in a few months you can renegotiate. It doesn't mean that because it's this way for now, it has to be this way forever.
Yes, it might change.
It might change.
It might get better.
And also remember
Or
that
worse.
sometimes we say, "Oh no, I can't say no. I'm not going to go to
Yes,
lunch." But
yes.
if you're doing it out of duty, who are you helping, right? Because if you're just doing it out of duty, not
But
because
then won't
it
your partner
nourishes
get
you,
upset?
Of course, your partner will get upset, but aren't they upsetting you when they abandon you
Yeah.
in this situation and leave you to deal with it on your
Yeah.
own? And what's going to happen there? So you are going. Your partner's pretending nothing's happening and making it your problem.
You're
right?
gonna
So
go
you feel
because it's a
alone.
sense of duty.
And then who do you end up resentful towards?
Your partner.
Your partner.
And
so
who are
does
you
that
going to be complaining and arguing with?
your partner?
And then you're not going to get any good sex.
Yeah, and is that's not
No,
going to help your
that's not-
relationship,
no.
right? So if going is damaging your relationship, don't. Like, kind of, I mean, okay, maybe you'll agree on, okay, I go
Yeah.
once a month or whatever, but don't pretend your relationship is invincible. It's
Yeah.
not. This
Yeah.
thing of, we're married so we can take whatever, your marriage will go downhill.
Yeah.
Do you want a marriage that barely survives, or do you want a marriage that thrives and is good and enjoyable, and you grow together and you laugh together and you play together and you fight together, because that's part of it, But if you want a growthful relationship, stop pretending it's invincible and start waking up and taking care of your relationship.
You go, sister.
Yeah, high five me.
Yeah, that was really powerful.
I like the power.
Listen, we've got a few minutes left.
Okay.
I don't know if you have a few tips
I do.
that you can go through.
Okay.
How maybe you can support yourself once you're there, you're with the in-laws. How can you support yourself?
Okay, so support yourself. So you can support yourself, you and your partner, by establishing some ground rules, for example. Like you mentioned before, you said, we go for lunch, but we're not going to stay for tea, for example. So that kind of, it helps you, we have a time frame. You're gonna, what's it called? Like, accept it for that long, kind of thing. And then sometimes there are things where you can kind of balance out the resentment, right? So for example, if you know that your partner is not going to be able to say, Mom, that was totally uncalled for, like,
Yeah.
zip it, like, kind of thing, and they're going to, like, kind of leave you alone with this. So maybe you do a trade, okay? You say, okay, I'll come with you because it's important to you, but you have to wash my car.
I like that.
So I know it seems silly, and this obviously shouldn't be happening
No,
with
but,
everything.
but you're validating it also and yourself. And listen, I'm going to go through this. You're not going to say anything. So I need something in return.
Yes. And once you get that thing in return, then you let it go.
Yeah.
It goes, right?
Yeah.
Because the whole point is about leveling out the resentment. It's about taking away. Resentment is the cancer of relationship, okay? So resentment will kill your relationship faster than anything.
And resentment happens with the tiniest of things.
So
on a daily basis.
Exactly. So if there's a way that you can alleviate it, do it. Ask them to wash your car. Ask them to take you out for dinner on Friday. Like, just kind of, okay, I'll do this for you. You do this for me. And it's like, okay, fine,
I like that.
deal. Yeah.
I like that.
I like it too.
Okay.
Okay. So that's one. You want another tip? Do we still have time?
Give me another one.
Okay.
Quickly.
Okay, quickly. Okay, so the other thing is always treat your, this should go without saying, right? But just treat your in-laws with love and respect. Like, remember that they are coming at you from a space of fear, and they're human, and they make mistakes just like everybody else does. They're not doing it because they're evil people, right? They're doing it because they're fearful, and they don't know how to manage their emotions. They were never taught.
They don't have the tools, and most probably this is what they've experienced growing up.
Exactly.
So I feel that really works when I look at a person and I don't look at what that person is doing or saying, but I look at that person and I look at their history and I try and understand their history, and I say, okay, she does that because most probably growing up she felt this.
But the thing is, you might not know their history. It's
you
a
might
good
not
method,
know,
but you might not know.
With in-laws,
and even if you don't know their history, just as much as possible, just try to pretend that you don't have a history with them when you meet them. Try to pretend the things they've said. Try to forget the things that the hurtful things they've said, and just meet them with fresh eyes every time. And protect yourself. Don't open yourself up to abuse. It's not necessary. No. But treat them with love and respect like you would anyone else. Just that's my tip.
Thank you so much, Emma.
You're welcome.
Because today was very insightful as always, and I hope that our listeners out there, who are going through some maybe negative emotions with their in-laws, or if you're an in-law and you feel yourself that you're doing this to your son's or daughter's partner, maybe give them some food for thought. So we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you for having me on again.
Oh, you're very welcome, honey. You're one of my favorites, but I say that to all of them. No, I'm joking. But you really are. Good night, everybody. And this was Melanie Kelly with Let's Talk About Sex here on XFM, and we'll see you next Thursday at 9 p.m. Ciao.